Hi guys, the long-awaited part 3 of this interview. Let's get started. I hope you enjoy.
So let's make sure we're going to start cutting this short. Let's make sure that we've hit everything. We've talked about, let's highlight that we said if you're in a small town that maybe has a little bit of offering in modeling, reach out to designers personally, reach out to local photographers, reach out to showrooms. If there's any kind of market where people are selling things, reach out to the local boutique. Because you know what? A lot of times, if you have a nice boutique, that maybe once or twice a year they do an event.
They do an event for their private clients. Yeah.
They want to show maybe the new collection that came in. They'll do a little bit more of a show. That's ways to start out first.
Yeah, just to network, even in your own in your own bowl, your own city, your own area. You could definitely network and do certain things by yourself, even if you're not affiliated or connected to an agency yet. That's something you can do, even if it's just to build your confidence and a bit of experience. If you want to go to an agency, look, luckily you guys have the internet, look up some agencies, try and fill in, don't just go to one or accept the first offer that they give you. You need to also be comfortable with the agency that you are, that sign you. Listen to your gut feeling. Ask other models or people that you know that are in the business, and they don't necessarily have to be models. They could be makeup artists, photographers, even sound engineers and videographers. Speak to them, hear what they've got to say, like what have they heard, what are the rumors,
reputation. Exactly. So, and when you were saying about don't go with the first offer, I have always realized, especially being a woman of color, it's better to be the big fish in the small pond than the little fish in the bigger pond. Yeah. Of course, a big agency like Ford, Elite, Next, IMG could want to sign you, but if they got 50 other girls that look like you, then how do you know they're going to push you? Yeah. How do you know? Because sometimes there's also politics,
internal politics
between the bookers, and if you're always assigned to a certain booker or something like that, and if your booker doesn't have as much pull, or if he doesn't believe in you and believes in one other girl or has a special relationship that he's pushing the other girl, and only when she's not available then you get suggested. I have always felt like go with the good, reputable, smaller agencies, and also look, like I said, they'll have 500 girls that are not girls of color, they look alike, and then they'll have only like 20 of us. But if they have 5 mixed girls that are also rocking a blonde short haircut, I'm not standing out. If Lee has a caramel colored girls also rocking along, it's not standing out. But if they have a Grace Bold type of girl, if they have a Naomi Campbell girl type of girl, they have a Lee type of girl, and then they have me, and then they have that really, really a little bit ambiguous girl that's got really long blonde hair, blue eyes, but she's still black. None of us are in competition with each other. Because the client will say, I want Grace Bold, I want Alec Wick, I want that dark, beautiful African, beautiful, rich skinned girl. They'll want a beautiful Caribbean, Naomi Campbell, but legs up to her neck. Or they want more of a girl like Lee, is the beautiful girl next door that's a little bit in the middle, still a little bit commercial. And then they'll want me that, I may be more the edgy girl with the short blonde hair, and I'm the great, runways.
So just look out for that.
Exactly. And then that other little ambiguous girl, look how I'm talking about other ambiguous girl. I'm like pushing her off to the side. No. This is okay.
Everyone's got their place.
Everybody's got their place.
Look out for.
She's probably going to be the more commercial girl that's going to be accepted to be in with the skincare companies and everything because she's not that dark. She still has a little bit lighter hair, blue eyes, and she's very, very ambiguous. But the rest of us are really women of color that they see as women of color, but we still have our own different
or
niche,
different markets, yeah,
different
niche.
market and different ask for. So that's one thing you need to do. Really research what girls do they have? Where do you fit in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be that little fish. I mean, sorry. Be
Big
that
fish.
big ass fish, that whale in a little pond. You getting all the attention instead of being that little guppy.
Something to consider. I mean, you have to change your strategy after a while. I mean,
sometimes you-
obviously, if you're going to become, if at some point you are Naomi Campbell, then you can be at any agency. But to start off, it's probably better to be a big fish in a small pond.
Exactly.
So,
and
just to
that's
get
and
more
I've
attention
and
and
I've
more to get
always
leaked.
loved being in smaller agencies because there's maybe only 2 or 3 bookers working there. You know the owner privately.
Yeah, just
You
personally,
call her
there's a
up.
different
You're like,
connection.
honey, I just did 5 jobs. I know the clients are being a little slow to pay, but I need this type of money. Front you money
Yeah.
out. Oh, and let's get back to agencies. Just one, because we were saying when somebody asks you money to get you in a modeling job, no money. Be very careful also in agencies. Used to be a time agencies only took 20%. Paris was always a little bit more expensive with 25. But generally now, internationally, 25%
It's sort of the standard, yeah.
is the standard. An agency should not take more of a commission of 25%.
Once you become a working model, one of the, now that we're on it, most of these jobs, depending if you're lucky, you'll probably only get a payout within 2 months, like after 2
30
months.
to 60 days they'll pay.
Legally, they have 3 months, up until 3 months to pay you. If you're lucky, you have agencies with good clients that pay immediately.
You
But
haven't even been drinking your wine, babe.
I've been having so much fun without it.
I know you're talking, but your mouth's got to be dry.
So they can forward you some of the money if you've worked a lot and you say, listen, for personal reasons, I just need the money earlier. Sometimes they will charge an extra 3% fee on it.
Yeah.
Try not, I mean, I try and avoid it, but sometimes there's just no other way. If there's a big payment that you're waiting for, or there's personal reasons you need it, then, you know, you have the right to ask for it. And
Yeah.
most
of the
agencies
time-
will front you the money.
Yeah, most of the time when you're regularly doing jobs, the money was coming in good enough to pay all the normal bills and everything. But if I knew I was going on a big tour, big trip, you know, beginning of January, I was going to have to hit New York, Paris, and then be back in Dusseldorf. And then
Well, just cover your expenses. I mean, at
That's
the end
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
day.
So I always
yeah.
ask for extra money just so I, you know, could cover those expenses. Book me a nice Airbnb. I always kept a nice little small apartment in New York for a while, and yeah, so those things had to be paid and everything. So,
But be smart with your money. Check your
Exactly.
contracts. And I think back to agencies, the most important thing is trusting your agency only enough in the sense that at the end of the day, it's your business and you have the responsibility as to how your business is run, how the money is
Exactly.
flowing. Check your accounts, check your tax stuff. Even though you might not be an expert, it is very important for you to know some aspects of how the cash flow of your business is working. The agency has their own expenses to pay. You need to budget yourself, and you need to know what the flow. If an agency sees that you're not smart enough to, not all agencies are as reliable with payments and stuff, so they can, and some agencies have literally stolen money from models. There are many examples. I also won't name the famous ones. I mean, Storm in South Africa went bankrupt, and they basically run away.
Kept all the money.
There's a lot of those examples all around the world. So you need to be smart with your money, because if the agency sees that you're smart with their money, they're not going to bullshit you that easily. And but at the end of the day, and this counts for every job, just check your pay slips. Check, ask questions. If you don't understand something, ask friends, ask business partners, ask people you know, ask people that are other models. Just ask. Don't be shy. Don't feel ashamed to ask these questions. It's your money. Nobody's going to look after it for you. If you don't check it, you're going to lose the money, and that's. Yeah.
I can give you an example. I was working for a showroom that I had actually booked the job or reached out, and I had the job privately. So then I would write them a invoice, and they were very good. They would transfer that money within 2 or 3 days. And a couple of the other models that were working in the showroom were booked through agencies. And one of them was like, hey, yeah, Macon, did you get your money? I was like, yeah, I had my money in 2 days. And my agency said that the showroom client hasn't paid. I knew this client. I worked with them religiously for maybe at least 8 seasons, 4 years. They paid within 2 or 3 days. One of the best clients. And then there's other situations where I started working for other showrooms and they wanted to book me and pay me a little bit more. But I'd rather work for just a little bit more per day and get my money within 2 or 3 days instead of having to wait 90 days, 60 and 90 days for my money. And her agency kept telling her, oh, the client hasn't paid. And I became friends with the owners of this show when they were like, that's bullshit, we paid them. Yeah. They keep the money because as long as the money is on their bank account, they get certain interest and everything, and they will wait to the last minute to pay you.
It has to make sense. I mean, obviously, fair enough, agencies have to pay their own expenses as well, but it needs to be within reason. If if you're working privately, you're getting your money within a week. If I'm working through the agency and I get it within a month, I probably won't care. But if I'm waiting 3 months for the same amount, that's a big gap. So.
Okay, well, but then we need to warn about that because what is the now we need to go into legal situations that when you're working with an agency. They send you to a casting on a client, okay? And the client books you, okay? Let's book through the agency. That's the agency's client. Let's say next season the client calls you privately and you take the job. No. Agency can sue you. Yeah. It's a lot different when you do a private mailer and send your Z card, or like I said, reach out to showrooms on your own. And you book that client privately, okay, in other countries, your contract with your agency may be more exclusive. Luckily, here in Germany, you can sign with the agency and you get a mother agency, but that's a contract that's mostly when they send you then out of the country. Because they have the right, because they're loaning you out to Milan or Paris and everything, they get a cut of the commission. But within Germany, there are no mother or exclusively.
Those contracts don't exist anymore.
They don't exist. They don't exist legally. So I can only speak for the country where we live right now. If anybody tries to put you in exclusivity, and I've had certain situations, certain shows I've worked on. Yeah. You know what I mean? That number one, I told you no more than 25% should your contract be from an agency commission. And then there's no exclusivity. They should not, within a certain radius, they cannot prevent you. That means if you have an agency in Munich and you're noticing girlfriends of you that have an agency in Berlin are getting cool castings, your agency does not have access. Germany's pretty small. If you're with a big enough agency in one of the main fashion cities, you're going to get, word of that agency. But just in case. And then maybe you decide to have an exclusive editorial fashion agency, and then maybe you want to go with another agency that's just commercial. You can do that. You don't have to share money or commission with anybody. You can do that on your own. It's only when the agencies hook you up with the agency themselves that
an international country where they trade you out or where they have business.
You would have never had any contact or been ever did that. So they have right and can share your commission. But if you go behind your agency's back and you steal a client, maybe you'll make more money at first.
In the short term.
But you're going to get sued for that. Yeah. And you're going to get a bad reputation and nobody's going to work with you. And I don't care how much the client comes and offers you this money, because let me tell you, you're offered a job for 1,000 euros. Okay? The agency's getting 25% of that, but usually the agency gets on top of that 1,000, 30. Well, how does it work? Because they have to. The client has to pay an agency's fee. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what it is. Agency's fee is usually 15%. So that means and then the client pays 1,000 plus the 15%. Plus, we have a certain thing, Umsatzsteuer, so there's a certain tax. But let's say on the common, New York, where they don't have Mehrwertsteuer. So the job is for $1,000. The agency sends a bill to the client for $1,150 because they get 15% because the client used their agency and used the agency
for the service fee.
And then the agency takes 25% of the 1,000 from the model. So on the end, they're getting 40% of the whole deal. Yeah. Okay? And at the end, you're getting $750 but 1,150 was paid. So they want that money. So you cannot steal their clients. You cannot do that. It's
very, very risky.
It's very risky. It's no, and it's just it's unfair. You don't want to be screwed from your agency. Don't screw your agency.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just it's not worth the risk. The 300 euros extra short term or $300 short term is not worth, especially if it's within the same country, within the same sort of bubble or area. It's not worth the risk because the industry is pretty small and people do talk and even if they don't directly gossip about it, you can make the links pretty quickly. So.
Well, we have a friend. Both of us have a friend that started in a showroom with through her agency, and then the showroom reached out to her, and then she also started doing more fittings with the design atelier in this particular company because it was a big company together. Showroom, design house, everything was together. The agency found out after a year, and they were suing her and wanted over 30,000 euros of commission, which was fair.
It's can't remember what happened to that case, but yeah, it's definitely
her husband was a lawyer,
possible.
so they got a good lawyer.
It's definitely possible that they could
pay money.
Yeah, she still had to pay. It's definitely something that's just not worth the risk. So don't do it. But trust you want to get an agency that you trust, and at the end of the day, you still need to check up on all your contracts. You're still in charge of your business, which means you have to, make sure that you know the details of the job, what you have to bring to the job. Sometimes these days you definitely still have to bring, things to the job, maybe even if it's just something.
Especially showroom. Always shoes, your own makeup, the right underwear, bra, nails, everything done. Okay, I want to go back to being careful about the contracts because if you're working in different countries, it's worth giving out a little bit more money and getting you a tax person.
Yeah.
Because especially here in Germany, I mean, in the US, I always done my own taxes and everything. In Germany, I think I'm a smart person. I have an economics degree. I can understand that, but I didn't want to make any mistakes. And a lot of times they could pay you. Also in Paris. Paris is badass. And let me tell you about
certain countries are just way more complicated in the setup. So.
Let me tell you, in Paris, if you work in Paris, not only does the agency take 25%, the city and country taxes from Paris is like 50%. Damn! So you're getting taken out 75% of a job. Let's go back to the scenario of 1,000 euros. Yeah. 750 is going to the city state in your agency and you only give 250. But if you don't live there and you're only bouncing in and have the right to work there for the time, you have to have the right tax lawyer and the right tax person that files those papers and gets that 50% for you back.
Yeah.
Probably takes 6 months, but you get a big ass check.
Yeah. At some point in the tax season, it adds up. So it definitely,
adds up.
if you're not savvy enough or you don't know anything about that country's
always
tax
get
situation,
help.
Always
get professional help. I even had girlfriends of mine from Germany that went and worked and very successful in New York, and they had certain taxes they had to pay there, and then they had to file with tax and get that money back, even though they had the right to work there and everything. So, honey, let's start wrapping this up. Let's cap it off. Okay, the best way to get interested in modeling, look for everything local. Like we said, photographers, learn boutiques, showrooms. If you want to reach out to a bigger city, walk-ins, agencies have open calls. You can
check their websites,
send emails, tag them on Instagram. Save up a little money. Spend a whole week to personally visit the agencies. Yeah. Take the time to talk to them.
If you have to crash on somebody's couch, we've all done it. Like if you want to start
student hostels sometimes cost you $50 a night. Yeah, you might be sleeping in a bunk bed with somebody else.
But then make that day count. Then go to as many agencies as you can.
Exactly.
You gotta make the time count.
Sleeping in a bunk bed in a hostel is not bad because you're probably gonna be sleeping in a bunk bed in a model apartment.
Or something like that, yeah. So
okay, you need to reach out. You need to take the time to learn. Know that you're gonna go in debt with your agency. Don't give up. be willing to do some kind of side jobs and everything. It's going to take a little time.
It's going to take time. The first 2-3 years takes time. It's not going to happen immediately. Maybe you'll have luck. I mean, sometimes you might have a lucky wave, and then all of a sudden, then it goes down. It's one of those things. That's the industry. So
yeah, exactly. And keep yourself healthy. Natural is best. Find a little bit of a look. There's something unique for you. You want to stand out. Be the big fish in the small pond. Don't be the little fish in the big ocean. Then you get lost. You get eaten up. And then be careful. Know your surroundings.
Yeah.
Don't get in a situation and you feel uncomfortable. It's better to say no and lose out on the biggest job ever you had than get in a situation that
could affect your life
for the rest of your life. Exactly. There's something that you can never let go, and is a trauma.
Or undo. You never know.
Never undo. Always have a good net. If you don't have a family, then
make your friends your family.
Make your friends your family.
Yeah. None of us, I mean, both
also,
of us
trust your booker.
Trust me.
Trust your booker. There's some asshole bookers out there, but I would say the majority of them, they're good. Especially
that comes to choosing the right agency. Like,
exactly.
Go with your gut. Like,
you don't feel comfortable in the job, if you feel like you were treated bad, if you feel like that something went wrong on that job, tell your booker.
Mention that.
They are there to fight for you.
And a lot of times the problem is these things are only coming out because people now have the courage to speak up. Speak out, even if it's something arbitrary. Say it. Just rather say it, if only for yourself. Then you know you've stood up for whatever happened, or for your, for your own peace of mind. So comes back to trusting your agency or choosing the right agency, because once you do, most of the other things that branch from that is going to be a lot easier, because you will be able to trust your booker, because you just have that sort of trust in them. And at the end of the day, the agency works for you. You're still the one doing the job.
Money. Without you, they would not earn money.
Yeah.
So they do everything. And then I just say, get out of your shell.
Yeah.
To be a model,
and
you have to have fun. Travel the world.
It's
every chance you have, if they're like, hey, there's a photo shoot in Mongolia. Hey, that's here. Do it. When in your life would you have the chance to do it? Say yes to life. Exactly.
It is a fun job.
I cannot complain. The life I've had, and I think
me
you
neither.
too.
Me neither. It's not always easy, but it's a really fun job.
Yeah.
It's a really fun job.
Fun job.
So I think that's it. So
I think that's it. We love you. Thank you for being here with us.
Bye. Thanks for having me as your guest.
Say thanks to Lee, and we'll see you later next time. Bye.
Okay, guys, this interview has finally come to an end. I hope you got all the information you needed. I hope we enlightened you. I hope we warned you and prepared you for a lot of things to anticipate. But please, I need you to still subscribe and to turn on your notification bells, because believe me, this is not the last interview for On the Sofa with Macon. I need you to stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Bye.